All right, let's move on to this headline story now. Funeral preparations are underway for the late COPE leader and former Free State Premier Mosioua Lekota, who passed away earlier this week. Let's get you a sense of how things are unfolding outside the family home. Bring in now Kamogelo Seekoei, who joins us now live, where it's still a pretty cloudy and rainy where you're at, Kamogelo, which I imagine in some ways is making it a bit difficult for the family there to go about those preparations.
Well, indeed, Ayanda, at this moment it's drizzling here in Bloemfontein. The weather is not really allowing any kind of movement. And with the family, we haven't really seen any movement. It's still a bit quiet. Yesterday, when the team was here, there was more activity, as people were arriving, obviously, to come and comfort the family with the passing of the COPE president. But at this moment, it's still a bit quiet. But as many have by now already know what the leaders of the Free State, how they have described the former Premier of the Free State, and of course the leader of COPE, that he was one of the most passionate people, and he started his struggle quite early on in his life as a student, with his compatriots being people who were also the Premier of the Northwest, Popo Molefe, the former Premier of the Free State, Dukwana, also explaining there that when they were in the legislature here in the Free State back in the day, as we remember that Lekota was a Premier during the first years of democracy, 1994 to 1996, that he was one of the most fired up leaders that the Free State had, and he came with that struggle credentials to the Free State legislature, trying to give the people of the Free State the life that they deserve. But at this moment, we also heard also from COPE, which says that even though they have lost him and he was not as active as he had been previously, that they have learned a lot from him. They have taken a lot. When he started the party, obviously being a breakaway party from the ANC, there was obviously a lot of uncertainty about how the party would fare, and over the years they've also seen a decline, but he remained committed to the party. He remained committed to ensuring that democracy of South Africa is sustained, and that his voice would never be silenced, whether he was part of the leading party in parliament or an opposition party. But at the moment, they've also mentioned that they are awaiting a word from the president in terms of the category of funeral that he will receive. With that, it's back to you, Ayanda.
Yeah, and before we let you go, Kamogelo, I mean, in moments like these, naturally there'll be a lot of introspection and reflection about, the person at the center of what's taking place there. What's the sense you've gotten from the community about what they knew about Mosioua Lekota? I mean, the street where you're standing, for example, I do wonder if there have been any onlookers who've shared a word or two about their neighbor.
Well, the neighbors obviously know him as someone who was quite strict. That's how they described him. But someone also who has a very big heart. They say that he was a person who they would count on for counsel, to come for advice. We've also heard, even on social media, some people talking about him. I saw one of the posts where someone was saying back in the day when he was still Premier, he paid a visit to QwaQwa, and he had made a commitment to the people of QwaQwa at the time, to make sure that there was development in the area. Of course, some people saying when they left at the time, things really didn't go according to those plans that they wanted to see, the plans of development. But there has been quite mixed reactions among people. Obviously, a lot of the people saying that as a leader, he showed passion, and he made a big contribution to the freedom of this country. But other people saying in government there isn't a lot that they can say about what he had achieved, especially people from those areas that include QwaQwa, as I've mentioned, that for the Free State he was here for quite a short time. So the amount of work that he had put in didn't really show, perhaps as he would have wanted it to show.
All right, Kamogelo Seekoei, thanks very much indeed for that reporting. Kamogelo is live to us from outside Mosioua Lekota's family home in Bloemfontein.